Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Scoop World Order. We have a huge show for you guys tonight. Again, we had a massive show last night with Justin Spiro and Nevadabuck breaking a lot of new Michigan stuff. Broke all that down. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We have a huge commitment we didn't get to last night. So we're going to talk about Jordan Thomas a little bit tonight. Take your questions as well. Again, if you guys enjoy our content, please leave, say like, click subscribe. Also click that little alert bell. Again, I've had a ton of you guys subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate that so very much. Again, we're trying to grow this thing as best we can. A lot of our super chats go to Pay It Forward. So again, Pay It Forward is a fund that we use to subscribe folks that are, military members, police officers, first responders, people that have really been helping this community out. To BuckeyeScoop.com, which is our title website that we are at most of the day. But again, we'd love to have you guys all join us on there. So with that being said, Nevada, let's get into last night first, because last night was a humongous episode. Again, you guys look at the views, our views. Last night on our show were higher. Did you say that again? Oh, Siri hates us. Our views last night were higher than every Ohio State show combined, plus 97 on the fans show combined, because it was so informative with Justin Spiro and yourself and breaking the news on the Michigan scandal. Talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get into some of the commitment news.
Well, I mean, the Michigan stuff obviously never fails to disappoint, and every day it seems like it brings another, reveal or another wrinkle on the thing. And today, it's Tom Mars, the lawyer, Harbaugh's lawyer, had come out with some comment. I didn't quite understand the whole genesis of it. I'm not sure if he was discussing with somebody or somebody had tweeted at him or he was responding or something, but basically something to the effect of um, you can't vacate wins without an ineligible player, which is just patently false. It's just wrong. So it's interesting that he would state that when it's absolutely not the case. And there have been, numerous cases where this happened. Most notably, I think people forget this because a lot of the stuff was walked back. But the Penn State case, I mean, the Penn State case didn't involve any ineligible players. Involved obviously Paterno. And you want to talk about a shaky case? That was based upon like one email talking about telling Joe something in specific. I always felt that case. Well, I thought that case was horrible and abhorrent, and I mean, there's lots of synonyms you can come up to describe that case. I thought that the NCAA's reaction to it was kind of a little disproportionate, just because it didn't have anything to do with the NCAA football, in my view. It attacked the whole winning with honor and their reputation, but the punishment for Penn State on that, which was not having anything to do with the eligible players at the time when enacted, was a $60 million fine, 4-year postseason ban, scholarship reductions basically down to 60, thereabouts, and every win vacated from 1998 to 2011. Now, they rolled some of that back, but when they did, as part of a settlement, part of a more global agreement with Penn State after they kind of served, part of their penance. Mark Emmert, the president of the NCAA, said, in no ways should this be interpreted that we feel that we did not have the authority to enact these punishment. So it wasn't like the NCAA was like, oh yeah, we had no right to do this, or they found that they didn't have it. I mean, they did it. So for Michigan right now, Tom Mars comes out with a statement. Charlie Baker comes out with a statement that they take completely out of context. And so I think for them, they're trying to, hang on to those things. But, the more I dig into this, the more that I talk to people, especially people around the NCAA, people that have contacts in the NCAA, the more I'm convinced that this is going to be absolutely horrible for Michigan. And the fact that they don't see it coming or have convinced themselves that it's not coming just makes it that much more delicious as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I mean, it's all coming to a head. We're all going to know really, really soon. We're all going to read really soon. It's all going to be real, really, really soon. But the people that I talked to and the people I talked to close to the Michigan program are getting increasingly nervous about what's coming down here. And I just don't like their defense, because their defense just doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, it's funny when the world, like not the world, the worm is turning with Michigan. All of a sudden, they're going from again, we look at this when it first started, defiant. Nothing's gonna happen. We're gonna fight it. We're gonna, we're gonna say, bet, and the president's doing it, and the AD's doing it, and the coaches doing it, and they're trying to be, just kind of, I guess, flippant towards this case. And I'm like, guys, like, with what you guys did, with the amount of, again, this is termed from someone very tight with this in this investigation. This is going to be a crap show. And again, we do not swear on here, but what I was told, it's going to be a crap show. It wasn't told the word crap, with Michigan going to the trial for this, because when you look at what they've done, what's been found, again, the people have been very aggressive. Like, well, when's the hammer coming? When's the hammer coming? It's like, well, it's court. It takes a long time. This is court. This is NCAA. This is getting everything, discovered. This is getting interviews done. It's going to be terrible for Michigan. And the fact that they've had people like defending this, and this is, oh, we're fine, we're go blue, and we won the national championship. I'm like, guys, like, it's gonna be a heavy price. It's gonna be bad, because I think that, when they look at the dead bodies that are gonna be here after the Connor Stalions, the Jim Harbaugh, the Jesse Minter, like the whole crew that's involved in this, like, it's gonna be Mike McDonald. It's gonna be bad. Those guys knew what was going on. Again, Connor Stalions wasn't some lone wolf, and again, Spiro, who's as good as there is as an investigative reporter as there is, was like, we had some disagreements last night on what was going on, what he thought. And again, he's the guy that is factual based, not contextual based, where it's like, we're a little bit more, okay, I think that if I can piece the parts together and see what happened and what really happened, Spiro's not going to go with that. But like, to me, what these guys were doing was, it was criminal. What happened to Ryan Day, happened to CJ Stroud, happened to these kids, happened to Ohio State, happened to their opponents. It cost people their jobs, and it was tough, and it was a rough deal. But Spiro was a killer last night. Again, I appreciate him coming on. Nevada, was there anything else from Spiro that you learned last night that you took from the show? Because he was dropping dimes last night. I mean, talking about Uncle T, talking about kind of the crew that was going on with this entire Michigan episode. Did you glean anything else from Justin Spiro's talk last night?
Well, Justin and I actually had a talk today on the phone. We were talking about some different. There were some different things, and I was asking him some questions because he's got different sources and different things, and I was kind of putting something together. And we talked. He told me a great story about about Jim Harbaugh and his disdain for Ryan Day. But I can't really go into the details of it because I'm not sure what he wanted to have revealed and what he didn't want to have revealed. So I won't betray his confidence. But let's just say that there's really no love lost between the two. Not that we didn't know that, but normally you hear that stuff and you don't know if it's just like, it's friendly rivalry, or yeah, I don't like that guy because he coaches for the opposition, or whatever that might be. But there's like a genuine hate, like a visceral hate between those two. And he'd give me one of the examples, which again I wish I could share, but it was pretty amazing when he was telling me about it. And no, I mean, look, we disagree on some different things. And basically, our only source of disagreement is whether or not we believe that Harbaugh knew. I think he's probably 51% that he did know, but he can't prove that. We were talking today about whether he thought Minter knew. He's like, well, I think he probably knew. And I'm like, do you really believe Jesse Minter was just taking the word of this guy, putting his reputation online, calling a defense, if he didn't know this guy? He goes, yeah, that's a good point. But the one thing we do agree upon is that this is the biggest cheating scandal in the history of college sports. And when everything's when the final body is buried, when the final thing is happening, there'll be more suspensions, show causes, damage done to the program than anybody's had. I mean, this is way worse than SMU because it involved the institution. I mean, the payments for this came from the institution. It didn't come from boosters. It didn't come from rogue fans. this was all an inside job. This was all done, financed by the institution, supported by the institution, and laid out, as it was put in the NCAA finding on Cheeseburger Gate. It was a situation where the head coach didn't follow the rules, instructed people to break the rules, and it created an environment where rule breaking was kind of the norm, and that was the culture that he kind of created here. And that's, Justin absolutely believes that that's foreshadowing what they're going to put here in this final report on this thing, is that this was a poisoned culture that started from the top with Jim Harbaugh not wanting to pay attention or play by the rules.
Well, I think that like my biggest problem with the whole procedure is the fact that, and I love Justin, investigative reporter, the best in the business, but it's like, if you're a young coordinator trying to climb the ranks, try to become a head coach, and you have some young guy who's like, you're going to go here, 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 you're going to rise up the ranks, you're going to become, a head coach. Again, Mike McDonald's a head coach for the Seattle Seahawks at this point. You have to understand, like, if I'm calling my plays off of some $50,000 a year associate, like, I need to know your process. I can't just be like, okay, I want to him haw it through the Ohio State game or the Michigan State game or whatever else you want to go through. It's like there has to be some sort of a procedure where it's like, okay, take me through. Because that's the thing. And again, this is not Justin Spear reporting. This is not Nevadabuck reporting. This is just me conjecturing because, again, I've been the guy in the business. I've been a guy who's been a young coach. And you sit through that whole thing and you're just like, well, okay, like if I go to Urban Meyer, if I go to Tom Herman, if I go to Luke Fickle and say, hey, I can get their signals. How you doing it? Show me how you're doing it. Like, because again, those guys are all in their little zones. And they're like card players. Like if they're Phil Ivey, they're some of these guys that are your Chris Moneymaker. These guys are these electric card players that have won the Texas Hold'em no limit stakes, and it's like, okay, I can tell you what cards are getting. Well, how are you doing it? What's your process? What are you doing? How's it work? And it's like, well, I've got these guys that are to go to 7 games, and I'm gonna pick their signals. I'm gonna look at they're gonna video the signals. They're gonna video the play. I'm gonna splice it. I'm gonna give you notes. And by the time that the game starts, I'll know that Keenan Bailey is the lead signaler for every game. I'm gonna sit there and say, hey, he's calling wide delay or wide trips or whatever. They're calling a running play. They're calling book, or they're calling one of the signature running plays. Super easy. Like if this is the book signal, which is our lead, read option play, then they'll say, okay, well, it's book. It's coming. It's right side, left side. Bring them safeties down, and it's a game changer. Again, I watched. When we watched the tape that we watched a million times of, Connor Signs picking the signs, and then all of a sudden the guys are going like this, or they're going like this, and they're saying, hey, it's going to be a pass over their head. Hey, it's going to be a run to the right. And then you see the safeties crashing down immediately. Again, I've got that film where it's like 2nd down and 10, and the 2 high safeties are crashing to the line of scrimmage immediately because they know it's a run to the right. And they get there and they stop it, and we get no gain. It's devastating. I mean, you can't play offense like that. And again, that's why, I think Ryan sharpened up this year. He went he went huddle, which eliminates a lot of the venom from going no huddle, signaling everything to the receivers. But I think that's going to be something that's going to be a huge deal. And I think that when they get into this trial in June, again, this was described to me as a crap show by somebody who's on the case. This wasn't some sort of a conjecture. This was like the guy who's literally on the NCAA is on this case is like, hey, this is going to be an absolute crap show. And again, we don't swear on here. You guys know what I'm going to say, but it was a bad day. Nevada, any other thoughts that we can get into a little bit of Jordan Thomas?
Well, yeah, and I think for Michigan, we could talk about who knew and how knew. It just I what I was saying to Justin today is I'm like, look, you maybe they might believe Jim Harbaugh because he's a strange dude, didn't know that Minter just wanted to believe, but like look at the number of people that already admitted that they knew. Chris Partridge already admitted they knew. Denard Robinson shared an office with Stallion, so he definitely knew. I mean, the interns are being asked to drive 19 hours down to games, and so like it's all over Schembeckler Hall that this thing's going on. So to me, it's impossible that none of that, you know, that Chris Partridge would know, but he wouldn't mention it to Jesse Minter, or that Jesse Minter would know, but he wouldn't mention it to Jim Harbaugh. I mean, come on. I understand the concept of plausible deniability. I understand the concept of holding up your hand and saying, don't tell me how you do it. But like he knew. He knew what was going on. He knew it was something that they shouldn't have been doing. That they were getting information that they couldn't possibly ascertain from, all 22 film or from the television broadcasts, as was ridiculously, stated by Stallions in that mockumentary. But yeah, no, it's just it's fun to see this thing come in. I can't wait to read the final review on this thing. That is going to give me hours and days and weeks of nonstop entertainment, just reading all this stuff and rehashing all this badness. Because as much as we know, and we know a lot, I'm telling you, when you see it in writing, it's going to be chilling. And I think for Michigan, I think that's what's really going to make this whole thing kind of come all together, is because when you read the cheeseburger thing, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they were doing that. And now you get to this thing and wow, way, way worse.
Yeah, it's going to be cathartic, and I cannot wait. It'll be great for Buckeye Scoop because we've been on this and we've been saying it's a big deal. And there's some people that said it wasn't a big deal, but I know that we're on the right track on this. So I'm trying to get one more click. I apologize. Jordan Thomas's film up. Nevada, Bergen Catholic, 5-star cornerback. He's a junior. This is junior season, going to senior year. Lengthy kid, 6'1", 190. Really talented kid. Bergen Catholic's been a feeder for Ohio State recently. Committed yesterday. Obviously, we were going to talk about it a little bit more. Spiro showed up. Again, Spiro. If we have a guest on, we try to give him the platform as much as we can. But this kid's dynamic. He's competitive. He's a kid that the guys, Tim Walt loves these long corners. And again, I like long corners too because they can defend against 6'4" wide receivers. So if you have a 6'1" corner who can run, he can play JJ, who's 6'6" or 6'4". Nevada, your thoughts on Jordan Thomas? Again, this kid is a star. Again, bail technique, gets the breaks the pass up. I'll see if that was another interception, but he's had a bunch of interceptions to start this. Physical kid, big kid. Your thoughts on him as he joins the Ohio State recruiting class? I'm just slightly muted, so I chew on my pizza crust. Shout out to DoorDash, a little bit late today, but we're good. This kid he reminds me of Davison, honestly, with his length and his height, physical. I mean, this is a kid from a great school. I mean, Bergen Catholic is a powerhouse in the area of Jersey. There's a pick. Really good player. Just forget Nevada in here to get his thoughts on him. Nevada, are you there?
I am here.
Your thoughts on Jordan Thomas joining the recruiting class?
I just think he's the prototype of what they're looking for. I mean, he's that big, lengthy outside guy, and like I said, with all due respect to Albert Hill, a kid going elsewhere. This is a little bigger kid, a little taller kid, and that's how Tim Walton likes these corners. I mean, he likes big, tall corners. I mean, obviously, big and tall and fast and fluid on the outside beats small and fluid and fast. I think this is a guy that, I mean, look, heck, he could play safety, he could play corner, he could play nickel, he could play in the slot, he could play anywhere in frankly, he could play on both sides of the ball. Really versatile type of athlete, could be active in special teams, in the return game as well. So now, this is a really good, just these are the types of kids that you're getting when you're kind of going on this dynastic run. You just stockpile kids like this, top kids from the state of New Jersey, and we're just pulling them, and it's becoming routine. It's funny because we get a kid like this, and the response throughout Ohio State land was kind of like, "Oh, okay, just kind of got him." But this is a big time kid. This is a Malcolm Jenkins type of kid. Like I said, this is the Davison type of kid. I mean, this is a really good player that is going to really thrive in this system. A perfect corner for Ohio State, a perfect corner for Tim Walton, and certainly a guy that Matt Patricia is going to put to great use. So I'm excited about him.
I mean, I like size and physicality when I look at building a football team. 6'1". Again, you see him tackling multiple times in this clip. He's not just dropping back, he's not just getting picks or deflections. He's getting after it in the run game, getting after it in the short screen game. Um, Physical kid. I know that people are upset about Albert Hill, but like to me on tape, this kid looks better. 6'1". I just think when you boil it down, the bigger, tougher kids always win. So when you get these 6'1" corners like Davison, like Denzel, you get these guys that are physical. Um, it never hurts you. You see here there's a team on a trick play. It's like a hook and ladder lateral play, and he smokes it. So I don't know. I think this is a kid I think's underrated. He's a 4-star kid. I think he's a 5-star kid. 21. You see him running this guy down. Effort is great. Physicals can be. I think 6'1" guys are the meta. So again, with Albert Hill, who's 5'10", 5'9", nickel guy, I don't think you want to break the bank for him. This kid, I like it, and we've been running with the quarters. Nevada, who else does you remind you of than Davidson and Malcolm Jenkins?
Well, I mean, look, any you could pick a tall corner for us. I mean, this is how the guy, he plays the game. I mean, this is a guy that, it's funny because when I first saw him, I'm searching through the New Jersey cornerbacks in terms of doing it, but like, I'll see a little bit of Denzel Ward in him. I see a little Jeff Okuda in him. He just, like I said, he's just a really, really versatile athlete, or a big, tall kid, and I just love his competitiveness. This is a guy that's multi-sport athlete, super competitive, super smart kid, super good in the classroom, perfect cultural fit for Ohio State. And as I said, these are the kind of athletes that you need to compete in modern football in 2025 to compete against the modern offenses, the way that the multiple offenses that are trying to create mismatches with your guys out of the backfield, versatile tight ends that can catch the ball. These are the type of guys you have to have on the field. And Jordan Hancock was a guy last year that served such a critical role with the Ohio State defense. Yeah, and this is the same type of guy. This is a guy that could play inside, he could play outside, he could roll up to safety, he could be the nickel, he could do it all. So I'm just, like I said, I'm excited about this. Is the guy I really wanted. I know Ohio State was super high on him, and when I heard his commitment date
Mhm.
coming on, I hadn't heard much, and I was getting a little bit nervous. But I circled back to Ohio State, and they're like, "Nah, we got this one under control." And sure enough, they locked it down. So great get by OSU, by OG Walton, Matt Patricia, just all around great job.
I agree. It's interesting. You look at this 2026 class. It is Chris Henry, 5-star. Blaine at Bradford, 5-star. Simeon Caldwell, 4-star. Caden Dixon Wyatt is a 4-star. I think he'll be a 5-star. Sam Greer is a 4-star. I think he'll be a 5-star. Maxwell Riley is a 4-star. I think he'll remain a 4-star. Jacob Weatherspoon. Jordan Thomas, another 4-star. Jaden Ricketts. CJ Sana. Brock Boyd. Corbin Fordham. Tucker Smith. They are quote unquote 3-stars. Nevada, how good can this class be? Can this be the best class in the country? I think that they're looking for a quarterback. That's kind of one of the things that, frankly, I think it's difficult when CG or excuse me, when you look at Julian Sane and you say, okay, well, he's only going to be a true sophomore. How easy is it to get a high school senior to commit here when he's going to play for potentially one, if not two, if not three more years? Between his sophomore, junior, senior year. What are your thoughts on that? Because it's not a quarterback in this class, but we've got a lot of other really good parts that I think will get upgraded to 5-stars. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I always admire Ryan in terms of how he handles the quarterback dance, because if you're a quarterback coming in, you're going to be coming in after Julian Sane is going to be coming off a really good, a very good first season, and then waiting, you've got Tavian St. Clair, the number one quarterback in the country, number one player in the country, sitting behind him. So we're talking about, does Ohio State, carry three scholarship quarterbacks? Do they carry four scholarship quarterbacks? I mean, I just think it's going to be tough to be attracting those top guys because everybody wants to play, and it's that rare position like goalie in hockey, that you just only one person plays. So yeah, yeah, I'd like to think that we'd have somebody in this class, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because Julian's so young, Tavian's so young and so talented. And are you really just going to load in there and sit there and wait 3 or 4 years for your time? I don't know if anybody's that patient. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that game. Do they skip one and just get like a veteran guy in the transfer portal and put him in as kind of insurance or something like that, or do they get a guy that's maybe a lesser guy, maybe a more development type of quarterback? I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see how Ryan Day plays the quarterback position. But the overall class, it's just going to be another insanely, best ever, number one, highest rated. Who knows where it's all going to go? But it's going to be another unbelievable class. We've been laying great classes back to back to back to back to back, and when you do that, you just don't have any holes, no dips in talent, and there's going to be no dip in talent coming out of this class. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's tough on Ryan, man, because like when you go with a true sophomore quarterback, which they're going to go with the Julian Saint, it's like he's soaking up this year, the following year, the next year, and I think that you see a lot of these really you know exceptional programs they're going with the transfer portal quarterbacks. They might be coming from a lesser program, but Will Howard just took us to a national championship from K State, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Because I think there's some consternation about the quarterback recruiting in this class, but with Ryan Day, I just don't care at all about quarterback recruiting. I mean, people get all excited. We get a 5-star kid, and like Kyle McCord or Quinn Ewers, they both leave, never really make much of an impact at Ohio State, and all of a sudden you're just like, well, we got Will Howard out of the portal, and he took us to the title. So I think with Ryan, the quarterback position will always be excellent, which is a really good thought on that. Nevada, any other thoughts on Spiro yesterday, the Michigan stuff? Again, that was one of the best shows we've ever done, just because Justin was on point. But I just want any other thoughts on that before we get into some super chats.
No, just don't forget we have the Cavs game that we're coming up against here pretty soon. So we're gonna have to get on our horses here because
All right, we
we
got
need the Cavs.
two super chats. All right, so that
Let's get to them.
you're done to go watch. Not Donovan Mitchell. Miss Piggy, thanks for this. Who do we have at edge rusher important August 30th? Bo Atkinson. He'll have 2 sacks versus Arch Manning. Period. Point blank. There you go, Nevada. Miss Pinky again, next for the 10. This goes with my question. D-line needs to collapse the puck and 6 to get to Manning. Buckeyes can't let this kid run. Nevada, do you agree with that?
Well, yeah. I mean, no, that's obviously going to be a big thing. That's going to be a big point of emphasis, going into that, and certainly something that I mean, it's not like we're unaware of that, and Patricia will have. The good news is we have guys that can run, guys that can account for that, and hopefully Patricia. And that's been something that's been a little bit of an Achilles heel for our defense for years. But let's see what Matt gets cooked up.
All right, Nevada, any final thoughts to wrap this thing up? Get the Cavs game.
No, just go Cavs, go game 5. Gotta win. This is the
We got
entire
to win,
season.
baby. Let's go, Cavs.
We got to win tonight. Go Cavs, go, and we'll be back at it hopefully.
All right, with that being said, thank you guys so much for being a huge part of the show. If you guys enjoy our content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell again, and give us a subscription on Apple Podcasts. Apologize for the guys that got here a little bit late. The Cavs game takes precedence. This is live. Do or die tonight, guys. So we got to see if our Cavs can get it done. So as always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop Family. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great time. Come on, Cavs. Keep the season going. Please, for the love of God, go Bucks.